Warning: this podcast has adult content, foul language, alcohol use, and sexual content not suitable for children. This is the Tales of a Small Town Bartender podcast for entertainment purposes only. Never attempt reenactments. This is the Tales of a Small Town Bartender podcast, and I'm Tony.
Tony, the resident psychologist, full-time as a bartender.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm Sean. I'm just here for the giggles. But thanks for joining us, everybody. It's great to be here again. Yet another week. Week 3, right? Episode 3?
Yes.
Awesome. How was your week?
Busy week this week.
Tell me about it.
I had a paint class on Monday, and I have one tomorrow also. And then I'm getting ready for my son's party. So
I know what you do at a paint class. Basically, you're like the leader of the paint class, and you have to walk people through making their the example that basically you provide, right?
Yes, but there's a lot of prep beforehand too.
Tell me about
that. I draw ahead of time. So if I have 20 painters, I draw up 20 canvases.
So you do stencils?
Yes, I trace my original, and then I use a carbon paper underneath the tracing paper, and I just trace it over 20 times, 20 canvases. Yeah, so they're all the same.
Stencil, that's interesting.
Yep.
All right,
so that's why people like my art classes.
Not everybody does it by stencil, do they?
Well, it's drawn on the canvas. So it starts out with a line drawing on there, and then everybody paints it different. You know what I mean? Everybody mixes colors different. Everybody paints it different. So they all look a little different at the end, which is what we're going for. We don't want them all to look the same.
Sure. But if I was to do like Billy Joe Bob's paint class in Washingtonville, New York, would I be painting on a stencil also, or is this
probably not special? I'm the only one around here that does it. There are others, but I'm the only one in this area that does it that way.
So 2 paint classes this week. What was Monday's painting?
It was a starfish on the beach.
What color was the starfish? I have to ask.
Okay, it was, well, we mixed the colors. So the base, it's layered. The base color was like an orangey brown color, and then there
brown.
I said brown, yes.
Brown starfish. Okay, we can leave that there.
Why am I not surprised?
What's the next painting? What is that one?
Tomorrow we're painting wine glasses.
Cool. What color are they? I'm just kidding.
We're painting an actual glass. Everybody gets 2 glasses.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
Great idea.
And I bring stencils for those. They can tape them inside the glass, or they can their own picture to tape inside the glass and use as a stencil.
Very cool. So go ahead.
The podcast has donated 2 free tickets to one I have coming up on the 31st.
That's right, folks. You heard it here. free tickets to paint class. But you
get an art party. Yep.
And it's at a bar, so you can get your drink on and get your paint on.
Yes, they have some good drinks there too. I was checking them out. I was at that same bar on Monday, and people were getting espresso martinis, and they looked delish.
Yeah, you got a test drive, right? So you heard it here first. The Tale of Small Town Bartender, 2 free tickets. What do I got to do to win them?
The art party Facebook page.
Nice.
You have to like the post, you have to follow the page, and you have to tag 3 friends in the post.
What is the art party Facebook page? What is that?
It's facebook.com/art party T.
The letter T?
Yes.
Okay. Art party T.
T. Yep. Okay. All one, no spaces.
So if you're in New York, you're in the area, and you want 2 free tickets to a paint class, get your drink on, get your paint on, courtesy of the Tale of the Small Town Bartender podcast. There we go.
There we go.
Awesome.
Okay. So how
week,
was your week?
I was going to say this week I signed up for Costco, right? It's not the first time I've been a Costco member, but it's been many, many years. So walking through Costco is pretty much the same as what you would expect. There's a lot of huge bulk purchases, right? I mean, toilet paper until the year 2073. One purchase and you're covered for the year. But some of the cooler things, and what they used to sell like pianos and keyboards there, but they don't do that anymore. It's all furniture now. Yeah, they had like mini grand pianos in there and stuff. And I was kind of looking forward to looking at those, but they're not there anymore. You can only buy them online, which, I mean, I guess it works if you don't want to haul it home, right? Have them delivered.
That's true.
But the two things that I did notice, holy shit.
What?
So, and it falls right into the Tales of a Small Town Bartender, the liquor department. So I'm a recovering bourbon drinker. I only pretty much sip on IPAs now, but the bourbon selection was okay. But then I got to the locked glass case, and in the locked case,
I saw your post.
Holy shit! Remy Martin, Louis XIII cognac, $3,799.
Yeah, that's insane.
Macallan, 30 year, $4,299, and it can be yours.
I have to say, I have never tasted that stuff.
I had an expensive bourbon one time a long time ago, and it was a tremendous experience. It was very tasty, everything you could have hoped for. I didn't buy it, but it was worth every dollar that he spent on me. So I extremely enjoyed that, and I probably would do it again. But 4,000.
If someone else bought it.
You talk about a special occasion. $4,300 for a 30-year Scotch. Whoa. I just hit the slot machine money right there.
Or that Powerball that's going off tonight.
So Costco, quite amazing. I bought 24 monsters for like $25. Can't complain about that. But yeah, $4,300 Macallan 30-year Scotch. Whew, that's not for me, but man, I like to go to the bar that serves that stuff.
People actually go into Costco and buy that? I mean, that's
you got me.
Seems odd to me for that to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was in lock and key, and it was just those two things in the case. It was incredible. But yeah.
I don't blame them.
So anyway, enough about that. So let's just ask a question straight out. This is for our listeners. I'm going to ask you a question. Why are you bringing kids to a bar? Why are you bringing kids to a bar? All right. There are exceptions. So like if you go to a bar that is also a restaurant and it's before like 9:00, that's okay. You want to have dinner with your family, kids not sitting at the bar, you can go have dinner with your family. That's fine. If there's no restaurant in a bar, and don't give me this bullshit about they got a fryer in the back and serve fried mozzarella sticks in a basket and mushrooms. Your kids should not be there. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
So you're the small town bartender here. I would figure small town bars would be just egregious offenders of this. What's your experience?
So I started going into the bar that I work at when I was probably 25-ish, 24, and I had children already. And they used to have Christmas parties there for the kids, but they were, at noon.
Yeah.
at noon. They would have Santa come and give out gifts, stuff like that. That stuff I feel is fine. But like you said, after 9 o'clock, no, it's not an ideal atmosphere for kids. I mean, conversations are inappropriate
Well, I
and
mean,
it's loud.
after like 4 o'clock, in my experience anyway, after like 4 o'clock at a bar, especially on a weekend, stuff starts to get kind of squirrely.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be a
Yeah.
little later depending on where you're at, but really 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, mm, especially if you got people that have been there all day, like, hey, we got a party at 12, 4 or 5
Yeah.
hours. Mom or dad are going to be a little questionable. No decisions there, right?
Right.
So
And kids can't sit at the bar wherever. They're not allowed to sit at the bar.
I think
There's
that
no way.
should
No
be a
ifs.
law everywhere.
Right. And so no ifs, ands, and buts. You're not allowed to sit at the bar unless you're over 21.
So, what about when we were kids?
I never really went in a bar, although my grandparents owned an Italian restaurant on 9W and it had a bar. So I would be in there with my mom, but it's a restaurant. We would be eating and my mom worked there. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the
Like,
exception.
yeah.
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 Italian restaurant on 9W, huh?
Yeah, it was in Middle Hope.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was attached to the motel there. It was actually it's the office now. There was a restaurant attached to that motel on 9W in Middle Hope. It was called Nando's.
Mm-hmm.
I was little. I was very little then. I was probably like 6.
I don't want to get too local and bore everybody, but there was an Italian restaurant down by Bowling Time on 9W that was just phenomenal. Looked like a little hole in the wall. It was amazing. But yeah, one of my favorite places to go. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on local stuff too awful. But yeah, but when my experience growing up, my parents played softball a lot. My dad and my mom. So after the game, it was either a half keg or a keg at the game, during the game, after the game, or it was everybody goes to XYZ bar and have a hamburger and I don't know, however many beers they would drink. I had no measure or no gauge at that time because I was all about playing outside or whatever. Like kids used to do when they were kids, play outside. That's something. Let me just think about that for a second. Yeah, playing outside. No, but what we used to do is I don't remember the old beer cans that have the tabs that pulled out all the way.
Oh, I remember those. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to collect those. We'd have thousands of those things. I don't know what the hell we thought we were going to do with them, but man, did we have them.
I used to have beer caps from the bottles.
Oh, yeah. Twist offs.
Yeah. Yep.
Get this little trick where you put it between your middle finger and your thumb and you just snap it and it goes flying like 30 yards.
I was just saving them. I never did that. I don't know why I was saving them. I don't even remember what I did with them.
But so we used to go to bars as kids. It was a different time. It was a time when if you got a DUI, the cops were more likely to drive you home and drop you off so you weren't a danger to society than to give you shit. But liability and lawsuits, the way they are, I mean, the police have to behave a completely different way now, which is unfortunate and sad, but that's a society that we've painted for ourselves. So, yeah. So speaking of, we talking about not bringing your kids to a bar. Why do what we consider kids not go to bars anymore? So the young generation, Gen Z, the millennials, where are they at?
I don't know, honestly. We had this discussion the other night because we have pool league at the bar, and they're having the hardest time getting new people to sign up because none of the younger people come in the bar.
Yeah.
And they don't play pool. None of them play pool. It's weird.
So I don't know about your area, but out here in Vegas, there's a lot of options for the Gen Z millennial crowd, nightclubs and stuff, and that's typically where you would find that age group.
That's the
Area.
thing. There's not really any left here. There's one over by the train station, Mahoney's.
Oh, I remember Mahoney. Man, that's been there for a long time.
Yeah, that's the only one left.
And that's down on the riverfront, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
I do remember that. Interesting, but yeah, I just think it's nightclubs. Other than that, I mean, I guess in your area, since your proximity to the city, you're spending a weekend in the city, and you're going to clubs down there. I mean, you're not
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be hanging out in Newburgh, would you? Or like maybe when you were my age and you were just drinking beer out in the back of New Windsor School, causing trouble. I mean, we didn't cause trouble, but I mean, we're as harmless as it came. We never did anything illegal at all, ever in the history of my life. But ever.
Okay. I believe you.
No, there was actually a funny story. Speaking of that, so one instance we were a couple friends of mine and me were in the back of the school, and we had a 12-pack, and we split the 12-pack. Everybody had their 4 beers, and we're going to walk up to the corner convenience store. And we go walking up there, and we see some friends of ours who happen to have some other stuff. And then we went back down to the school and then partook in the other stuff. And then we're walking up to the store. And we walked up to the store, we went shopping, and we're walking back to the school. And a policeman drives by on Route 94, just drives by, and all of a sudden somebody yells, "Run!" There was no reason to run, but everybody just started running. So off we go, and running through the woods. And we finally lose him, and I have to get home, which means I have to cross 94, and I have to go down the entire length of the school to get to my house. And there was an officer standing outside of his squad car looking for kids like me. So basically I had to belly crawl all the way home so I didn't get in trouble, or I didn't have to rat any of my friends out. But
You guys were just paranoid. That's all that was.
well, this idiot. Nobody else. I was like, what the fuck are you running for? Good God, man.
Oh, that's so funny.
Anyway, so
I can totally picture that whole thing.
Yeah, it's like summertime parties, man. So kids never really had the capability of doing summertime parties. But when I got into the Marine Corps, then things changed. And I have a couple Marine Corps stories I'm saving, and they were both over in the island of Okinawa when I was stationed over there, because back when I was over there, it was a different time than it is now. And things a little less restrictive, I'll say, and we'll just leave it at that for now. But the stories are amazing, and I'm really looking forward to telling them. But we were able to do a summer party or summertime parties over there, because Okinawa has nothing but summertime. So we did a God's honest pig roast. We had one of our officers in our battalion was Hawaiian, and he did a Hawaiian pig roast over in Okinawa. Turned a spit, the whole 9 yards. It was great. Apple in their mouth. So cliche. Don't have any pictures. No cell phones back then.
Right.
But anyway, it happened. What's your experience with summertime parties? What do you think about all this?
I love summertime parties.
What do you like?
We used to have a summertime party every year, but now we live in an apartment, so we don't. But I just liked having everybody together and having fun. And when you get older, you don't see some people all the time. You're busy. Life gets in the way.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's even the same with family and stuff like that. If you have like a large family, like my wife has many brothers and sisters, and it's hard to get all of them in the same place at the same time because they're spread out all over the United States. So if you get the opportunity a few years ago, my wife and I used to have what we called cousins night because most of the cousins were all in the same area of the country where we lived, and we'd have all the cousins over to the house. We'd have a big sleepover, and that started, gosh, when they were super young, all the way through their teenagers. When they got to be teenagers, before they moved on with their lives and got jobs and careers and everything, we would do a challenge night where you would do the stupid challenges you see on the internet. I mean, nothing stupid like a Tide Pod, idiots. No, like the baking soda and vinegar challenge, because you know how that's going to end. Right? Or drink a half gallon of milk and let's see how you do challenge, or the bananas and Sprite challenge.
Bananas and what?
Sprite.
That one, I've never heard of that one.
So eat 3 bananas and then drink a bottle of Sprite.
A small bottle of Sprite?
Yeah, whatever.
Or a 2 liter? Oh, I was like, a 2 liter bottle?
Believe me,
right, what happens?
Doesn't matter. So the Sprite hits the bananas and it triggers a carbonation reaction. And it makes you belch like demonically.
Oh my God, I never heard of that one.
It's amazing. Just search on YouTube videos on Banana Sprite Challenge and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's pretty tremendous. But we would get all these guys together and they would do all of these things and record it and just for old time's sake and put it up on the internet so everybody could watch it. And I mean, it was pretty cool and it's still talked about to this day. And just great fun. Summertime parties. That's what we used to do. Good stuff. Getting your family together. And a few years ago, we were able to get everybody together, even though people were in the military and they came home on leave. And people were, some of the cousins were out of town. Everybody got together for a big Thanksgiving at my house. And I tell you what, I couldn't have been more happy than at that moment just to have all of the young kids back together, adults now, and then all the parents together, my brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws, just such fabulous people. And it's so great when you can enjoy family, and even better when you can consider family friends as well.
Oh, so, yes. Definitely.
You have any great summertime party stories?
You know,
I'll tell you what, I'll let you think about it. And I'll tell you one of the, at that Thanksgiving that we were talking about, my oldest son, who was home on leave, found, what was it? Was it a 36-inch television? The old ones with the box on the back.
Oh, the tube TV?
Yeah, the tube TV. He found a 36-inch TV and set it up in our garage in November in the Midwest. And then they found the old Nintendo 64 with all the cards on the bottom of a box. And they set it up out there, and it was just hours and hours of all kinds of stuff, man. GoldenEye, the original GoldenEye, which was so much fun back in the day, and Blitz, NFL Blitz, which was absolutely insanely ridiculous, but just hours and hours of fun and shit talking, and just such a fabulous memory. Will always be one of my favorite memories. Okay, so now I just bought you 3 minutes.
I have a story that's not so great, but one party we had, it was a 4th of July party at our house, and we had a big above ground pool, the big oval one. It was 33 feet long and 18 feet wide. It was huge.
Wow.
And the kids were swimming all day. We had people stay at our house in tents in the backyard. They brought tents with them before the party, set them up. So the next morning we get up and the people are coming in because we're doing breakfast. And somebody said, "Your pool's looking pretty bad out there. Half your water's gone."
Oh.
So I look outside and half of the water is out of the pool. And my husband runs out there with one of the guys, and they're trying to find the hole to patch. Somebody ripped the liner. So they're trying to patch. And I don't know if you've ever patched a pool before, but you have to go underwater to do it.
Yeah.
It was quite the show. I wish I would have recorded it. I really wish I would have recorded it. That unfortunately was the last party we had because we had to buy a new liner and then refill the pool.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
it was a really fun party, I have to say. We had fireworks and we went to Pennsylvania to get the good stuff.
Yeah.
The fireworks. And
That's the way.
it was fun. We had people, like I said, people in tents outside all night. And it
Amazing.
was fun.
So that's the first time I've heard that it would have been a perfect use for that slap patch thing. Have you ever seen that infomercial?
I have. And they didn't have that back then.
Ah, it was a perfect time. Where was he when you needed him?
Yeah, or it's the Flex Seal guy or something, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
I know
Flex
they have
Seal. That's
Flex
it.
Seal. Flex Seal, they didn't have that then either because I remember when Flex Seal was on TV and I was like, oh man, that would have fixed our pool.
Man, that's a takeaway from today's pod, everybody. Where was Flex Seal when you needed it?
Right?
Anyway, let's move on. Let's go. Did you have a routine when you were going to high school? I imagine you had some kind of routine before high school.
Before high school?
Yeah, like in the morning, wake
Oh,
up,
in the
get
morning.
out of
Oh,
bed,
yeah,
track your to and
definitely.
across, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Tell me about it.
Oh, you want to know my routine?
I
All right,
do.
so
There's a reason for this.
all right, I got up and got in the shower, and then I spent a half an hour doing my hair.
Oh yeah,
I
you did.
half an hour, swear to God, and then makeup, and then I got dressed after I did all that. I don't know why I didn't get dressed first because I always messed up my hair when I got dressed. But anyway,
Yeah.
and then I got on the bus. I never ate breakfast.
So you rode
But yeah,
the bus to high school?
yes.
Cool. So did I up until my senior year, and then I had a car. But pretty much the same for me, except for the makeup part. Did not do my makeup. But I
I don't
had
think
one.
it took you a half an hour for your hair though.
No, it was just straight and long. My wife still calls it a mullet. I don't know if it was a mullet.
Oh, it
Kind of.
definitely was.
Oh no, are you doing that?
It definitely was a mullet.
Wow.
I remember you in high school.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll give on the mullet, but I had one extra thing. So when we got to school, and I can't tell you how cool life was back in 86, 87, 88. That you could just go to school, and if you were a smoker, just bum a cigarette off a teacher like it was nothing, and they would be totally cool and give it to you, right?
I never did that.
I did that a whole bunch of times. We were at the doors. So I don't mean to do this to people who are unfamiliar with the school, but there was one set of doors all the way on the right hand side of the school that was just off the faculty parking lot where all the faculty would come in, and we would stand over there waiting for the school bell to ring to get let into the school. But of course, faculty would be going in to get to their classrooms. They'd be like, "Hey, can I bum a smoke off you?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, absolutely. Here you go."
Wow.
At least one a morning. Then you got to know who smoked the good stuff and who didn't, so you know who to ask for when you needed that cigarette. So there's one thing, and I can't remember his name to save my life, and not that I would out him on a podcast, but his parents owned. He was a friend of mine, and his parents owned a convenience store that was kind of in the downtown area there around the high school, and he would every day bring 240s to school, one for him and one for me.
Oh my God.
And then we would go up into the woods to the log, which is one of those spots. You got the rock and you have the log, and you may have, I don't know, the tree stump. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But we used to go to the log and start our day off with a 40 every day.
Every day?
Yeah, when I was a junior.
That's crazy. Nobody ever smelled beer on you?
If they did, they never said anything.
Or were you guys chewing gum afterwards, maybe?
Yeah, maybe some days, but not all days. And I know I
Would
had
you
some like dippy
Would
class in the morning. So
would you object to me putting our yearbook pictures on the Facebook page?
oh my gosh, no, I guess go ahead. That's fine. Just put my
Because
name off it.
I take your name off it.
Yeah. Just first name only because I don't want to be identified in a lineup.
Oh, jeez. Well, I'm looking at your photo right now.
That's scary.
And yes, it was a mullet.
I'm trying to tell everybody it's the same length all the way around, but you'll have
Was
to go
it?
to Facebook.
It doesn't look like it.
All right. You'll just have to go to the Facebook page. Tony will put it up, and then go see me and all my Ralph Macchio glory, I guess.
And me and my half an hour hair.
It was pretty epic too, by the way. What was your hairspray? Were you an Aquanet girl? What were you?
Oh yeah, Aquanet, definitely.
Stuff that was the gift that kept on giving. So speaking of stories that come out of high school, I've got one more story, and then we can start to wrap this up. So I went to high school with a family member. He was in the year before me. And our grandparents were from Florida, but they would vacation up in New York in the town of Newburgh on a large lake. And there they stayed in a cottage during the summer. And during the wintertime, the cottage was boarded up, locked up, completely shut down. No water, no electricity, nothing. Just completely offline. And there were two other cottages right next door, like maybe 10 yards apart. And there was three, 1, 2, 3, boom, 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 right next to each other. And then you go down a hill to the lake. Wonderful area, great lot, amazing cottages. But the cottages were owned by the owner of the cottage. My grandparents stayed in the middle, and then the owner's son and daughter-in-law stayed on the one on the right. So these cottages were often somewhere that got broken into over the winter time because they knew they were gone for the winter, so they would see what they left. And of course, they would get broken into every winter, so they wouldn't leave anything. It was the dumbest thing ever, right? So one day, I'm in high school, and I'm walking down the hall, and my family member walks up to me and says, "What are you doing tonight?" And it's Friday. And I say, "Hell, I don't know. I don't think anything." And he goes, "You want to go party?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. Of course I do." What, are you kidding me? And he says, "We can do it out at Nana and Grandpa's cottage." And he takes a key out of his pocket and he says, "I got the key for it." He had stolen the key from his dad, who used to go out and check the cottage periodically throughout the winter to make sure everything was, 4x4 or 5x5, depending on. So anyway, so it's the winter time. There's about a foot of snow on the ground, and it's colder than dog shit. It's that cold that's right after a good winter storm. You get that nice biting raw cold where the air's not moving and the sky is crystal clear, and it's just like it just cuts you to the bone, right? So he says, "Okay, we're gonna go out there. I'll meet you out there after nightfall. We'll get the cars together and we'll head down there at about 6 o'clock." That was after dark. So we head out there at the 6 o'clock. We go down. I got a couple friends with me. There's a girl that's there, 2 girls that are there, and we head down to the cottage. We get inside the first door to the porch, which was not locked, and then inside to the door that led to the kitchen, which was locked, double locked. And there's a grill outside, and my friend lifts it up and turns on the gas, and he says, "Ooh, we could use this for heat and light," and then slams the lid on it. And so with the silence across the lake at night on a winter's night,
I can imagine.
Oh my gosh, I mean, just echoed across the lake and back. We heard the return of it, It was so loud. I'm like, you idiot. Now everybody knows we're here. But did it matter? No. So we opened up the place. We had a couple of bottles of liquor. I have no idea where they came from. Who knows? But I think one of them, my grandparents donated to the cause. They left that in their cupboard. So, but we dragged the grill in and did the stupidest thing ever. We lit it
Inside?
inside. How
Oh my
dumb
God.
were we?
I can't believe you did that.
It's so dumb. Don't even think about it. So anyway,
No.
we're hanging out, and my cousin and his girlfriend meet another couple, and they leave and they go to dinner. So it's just me and a couple friends and a girl, and we're just sitting there and we're drinking a little bit, and then my cousin gets back and with their friend and everything, and we're going to settle down and have a little party. I mean, I wasn't feeling sleepy or anything, but this girl's just going to town inside. I mean, it's the dumbest freaking thing ever, but here we are. And then I don't know what made me stand up, but I got up and I walked to the back door and there was a light. And I looked out the door, and on top of the hill by the driveway were 4 sets of headlights. And I'm like, oh shit.
Busted.
So I turned around and I said, oh, guys, cops are here. And they're like, what? And I was like, I don't think I stuttered. Freaking cops are here. And so everybody's panicking. They don't know what to do. The girls freak out and they run upstairs and hide. And then they're outside, and I can't remember who was first through the door, but it wasn't me. And we go outside, and the cops were like seriously high tension. What we later found out, and this is a good point, good place to introduce this, is that by dropping the grill, somebody reported the break-in, but reported a discharge of a firearm.
Oh,
so they think we're armed.
Oh no.
So there's like 7 of us. They have 3 cops with their hands on their weapons and a 4th cop with a dog.
Oh geez.
No kidding. So they're like, okay, you out and get on the ground. It's a foot of snow on the ground, right? So one of my friends goes out and gets on the ground. I went out and I was like, I'm not getting on the ground. And I just put my hands on the wall. And then my other friend comes out and he had a t-shirt wrapped around his head to keep himself warm. And he walks out and the cops are like, freeze. And they drew their weapons at him.
Oh my God. Like, did he poop his pants?
Oh my God. Yeah. So slowly take your hands and untie that mask, Muammar Gaddafi.
Oh.
They literally called him Gaddafi. So he untied it and he held it out and he dropped it. And then he got on the wall next to me. And then my freaking family member, he comes out and the cops are there and they're wound. And my family member comes out, the guy who got the key, and the cops are like, get on the ground. And he goes, what's this about? Get on the ground. And he's like, what? I got the key. And he opens up his coat with his left hand and he takes his right hand and he jams it inside his pocket. And they're like, freeze. And he's like,
oh my God.
He came within, had to be a millimeter of just getting wasted right in front of it, or right in front of us all. So he pulls his hand out slowly, shows him he doesn't have anything in it, but he's got the key to the place. So how can we breaking and entering, right? So he comes out. Then there's this whole mix-up, which I'm not going to go into. Just I'll touch on it briefly. But the girls were upstairs hiding, and we can hear them crying, and they're like, "Come out, or we're going to release a dog. Come out, or we're going to release a dog." Imagine being a girl, a high school girl, at a party, and yeah, and now you're going to get the freaking dog released on you because you're just out drinking at a party. But they don't know what's going on. I get it. Okay, whatever. But in hindsight, I can't blame them. But in reality, they probably should have just came outside. So
yeah.
So eventually they do. and they clear the house and everything's fine. And we're standing there, and then we hear one of the cops say, "What do you want to do?" And then we hear from behind the cops a voice that says, "Book 'em." It was it was my family member's dad.
Oh.
He heard the call of the familiar address over the freaking scanner.
Oh no.
My mother did also, and then called him and was like, he's like, "I'm on the way already," and he was on the way, and he was
Wow.
there watching this whole thing go down. So they didn't cuff us, but they stuffed us in the back of cars, and they took us down to the police station, and they called our grandfather.
Oh.
And the grandfather's like, "I'm not going to press charges on them. That's ridiculous, right?" So they let us go. They let us go, and I got to go home with my mom, who was a real joy. Granted, I just got arrested, or allegedly arrested. I didn't technically get arrested, but that's about as close as I've ever come to being arrested. Very, very interesting. But we were able to ditch the alcohol by hiding it inside inside the liquor cabinet, and also I think it was my family member wung it into the woods which bordered the property out another door. And
Oh, that's smart.
that summer we went looking for that bad boy.
Did you find it?
We did. It was a bottle of Seagram 7, about 3/4 full.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty gross. I know you love Canadian
That's
whiskeys.
the one. Yeah, that's the one I don't like.
But yeah, that's like the cottage incident. It was insane, but that's the closest I've ever come to getting arrested, and the closest I've ever seen to a family member getting wasted by the cops right in front of my eyes. I was close enough to
Wow.
I got blood all over me. What an idiot. So anyway, that's the cottage incident.
Our next recording, I will tell you a story of shenanigans. I can't talk now. Of a friend of mine and me when I was at home and she was not. It's a funny story. I'll tell it another time. It's a long one.
Good. Thanks for the tease. Now I can look forward to next week's recording. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. Let's get towards a close here. Let's wrap things up. First of all, I want to do the random state generator, right? New York versus a random state.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Started this last week. Who did we have? Mississippi? I think we have Mississippi. Alabama. We had
Alabama. We had Alabama. Yeah.
Rock City. That's right. All right. So random state generator. I have a webpage that's a random state generator, and I'm going to pick a random state. I haven't done it already. You're just going to have to take my word for it. And then we have to compare New York with this random state, whatever we know about it. That's it, period. And it could be any state. All right, so here we go. Pick a random state. The random state is Rhode Island.
What
do
you
know?
Fishing.
Good fishing in Rhode Island.
That's all I know.
I know on the trip from New York to Florida, which I took many times down I-95 and the Jersey Turnpike, Rhode Island was like, of course, it's the smallest state in the union, but it was like the shortest trip ever through that state of Rhode Island. It was like nothing.
Yeah.
So good fishing, very small, very easy to find another state if you're in that state. So you can go to Jersey, you can go to Virginia, you can go to Maryland, you can go to all these other places. So you don't have to stay in Rhode Island if you don't have to. My other favorite part is the fact that Jim Carrey was a state trooper from Rhode Island in the Irene movie.
Oh, yes.
Which was, I think, one of Jim Carrey's funniest movies ever. Just hysterical. Something about Irene, is that what it's called?
Me, Myself, and Irene.
Me, Myself, and Irene. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for pulling me out of the fire. Yeah, Me, Myself, and Irene. Well, he was a Rhode Island state trooper. So let's see. So better fishing than New York? Yeah, probably. Although you probably have an argument, I think, up in the northern border at the Great Lakes side.
Yeah.
Can't get out of New York east from all other. Is it expensive?
I feel like it is. My husband goes there. They charter a boat, so it's really expensive to do that.
Yeah, you're
His
talking from a state with $13 a pack cigarettes too.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's more. I feel like it's more expensive in Rhode Island. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. His boss takes him on a trip there, like every other year. They go up there for a weekend, and they charter a boat and go fishing,
Wonderful.
and it's pretty expensive.
All right. So for you, Rhode Island or New York?
New York.
I'm going to go because I'm not even a seafood fan, but for some reason I'm drawn to it. I'm going Rhode Island on this one.
Yeah,
I'm going to buck the trend here. I'm going Rhode
I've
Island.
I've never had their pizza.
Oh gosh, what a good point. Gosh darn it.
You always have to judge it by the pizza.
It does go back to that, doesn't it? I run into some travesties across my travels in the U.S. It's no two states are created equal. That's for sure. Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
So we'll split. I'll stick with my answer. I'll own on to it. So
Okay.
we'll go with the split decision on Rhode Island, New York versus Rhode Island. Okay.
It's close. It's close to New York. It might have good pizza.
So let's do. All right. Drunk or a kid?
Okay.
Ready for your drunk or a kid?
Sure.
All right, so let me just give you the brief overview. Drunk or a kid is I'm going to tell Tony a story submitted by someone who could either be drunk or it could have happened sober as a child. So one or the other. Can't be both. So now, hey, and while I got your attention, submit your own drunk or a kid stories from your own life to Tales of a Small Town Bartender at gmail.com. I had a total brain fart there. So submit your own drunk or a kid stories to Tales of a Small Town Bartender at gmail.com. So, all right. So, drunk or a kid today. Here's your drunk or a kid. Fell asleep in the shower, woke up 2 hours later, still in the shower, went into the living room naked with the shower still running, and knocked myself out with a game controller. Am I drunk or a kid?
A kid.
Correct. I was a kid.
Oh, yeah?
About 8 years old, and I discovered that day that I was basically a drunk child when I was tired. For context, no one was home at the time.
That's funny.
Submit your own drunk or a kid stories just like that one to Tales of a Small Town Bartender at gmail.com. One other thing that Tony and I wanted to talk about was we're in the end of July here, folks. This is like we got one more week. We got one more show in July, and then we're in August. And if you go to Walgreens, you go to Walmart right now, or you go to CVS, they already got the Halloween stuff out, folks.
I know, right?
How insane is this?
Home Depot even has it out already.
Holy shit.
It's crazy.
Can't stop it, right? It's commercialism. But anyway, Halloween is coming. Apparently a lot sooner for people that sell stuff than the rest of us. But think about your haunted stories. Send us your haunted stories. And if they center around a bar, that's awesome. If you had a haunted bar story,
yeah, that's awesome. But they don't have to.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. But if you have a haunted story, I know I've got a few. I'm sure you do too.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say we come from a place where there's a lot of history, right?
Yes.
Like a ton of history there. George Washington.
Yep.
All kinds of good stuff. And there's all kinds of haunted stories about that part of New York. But there's also haunted stories about the town that I moved to after I got out of the service, and even bar haunted stories from that town. But I'm gonna have to do some research for that one because I don't remember those off the top of my head. But they're pretty amazing.
Awesome.
So if you guys have
those.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're great. If you guys have any haunted stories, haunted bar stories would be awesome too, but any haunted personal stories, the unexplained the extraterrestrial, I mean, whatever, talesofasmalltownbartender@gmail.com, or go to our website, talesofasmalltownbartender.com, and you can submit those for our October shows. We can do multiple shows on the Halloween stuff. So don't feel like we're going to squeeze it all into one, because October is going to be the Halloween bonanza, just like all summer long has been at CVS.
Right? I think they put the back to school stuff out after they put the Halloween stuff out. Right?
Gosh. Yeah, I think the Halloween stuff won this year.
I think it did.
And I know in New York, and I remember this as a child as well, is New York is a little bit later than everywhere else that I've gone to school or have had children in school. And New York doesn't start until the Wednesday after Labor Day, if I remember. Yeah. And then, but everywhere else is like August, we're in.
Yeah.
So for you to go to school in August and have Halloween decorations beat school decorations, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
Well, my cousin lives in Florida, and their kids go all year to school.
Oh yeah, they have the all year round school, right?
They have all year. They have off like 2 weeks here and 2 weeks there, but they don't have like a summer vacation.
Would you have wanted that?
No.
When you were a kid?
No. I loved summer vacation.
Oh God, it was the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
Months and months of nothing. Maybe a job if you wanted one, but you didn't have to. Oh, it was great. God, I want to be irresponsible again. So I have a quote. So this is often misquoted, but often a very quotable quote about drinking, and it's from Ogden Nash, believe it or not, Ogden Nash. And this quote is, "Candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker." I'm sure everybody's heard that one before.
I have heard that one before.
But yeah, the originator of that quote was Ogden Nash, just so you know.
I never knew.
Now you can sound smarter than your friends. There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to close up, and I will hand this over to Tony's capable hands to see us into next week's show. Thank you for joining us, everybody. I really appreciate you listening. It's so great to have your clicks on the website. And like I said, Drunk or a Kid, Halloween, Tales of a Small Town Bartender @gmail.com. TalesofASmallTownBartender.com is the website. Get a hold of us. I'm Sean. Tony, take it away.
Thanks for listening, and tune in next time.
You can contact us in many ways. Email at talesofasmalltownbartender@gmail.com. Our website at www.talesofasmalltownbartender.com. Facebook, facebook.com/talesofasmalltownbartender. Instagram, Tales of a Small Town Bartender. TikTok, Tales of a Bartender. Twitter, @bartender_tales, and on our Patreon page, patreon.com/Tales of a Small Town Bartender.
So how's the cold?
The cold is delightful. That's why I'm shirtless. Freezing.
No, I meant you're coughing.
Oh, my coughing. Oh, that cold.
You're cold, yes.
No. Well, I've had that since December of 2021.
No way.
So, yes, and it has not gone away or has not abated. Or
you sure it's not just allergy?
Yeah. It's they called it long COVID. I'm going to another lung specialist next month, so I have more appointments, more doctors, more poking and prodding, stuff like that. No biggie.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, we'll get through it. Today was a good day till I got home, and right now I'm doing okay. So,
so are you a smoker?
No, I was for a long time through high school. I quit in was it 2011? I think it was.
That was before I quit. I quit in or what year was it? 6 years ago, whatever that was.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
6 years ago. My granddaughter's 6, so it was on her birthday when she was
Yeah.
born. I quit smoking.
Oh, cool. Well, congratulations. Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember when cigarettes got to the price of like $3.50 a pack. I was like, yep, that's enough. That's too expensive.
right.
$3.50. What are you guys paying there? Like $10 a pack now?
Higher.
More than that? Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like 13.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm so getting into the cigarette smuggle pirate trade.
right.
Yeah.
How
That's
much are they
amazing.
there?
I Vegas, I don't know. I haven't looked, but in
Yeah.
Iowa, they were like 5.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband still smokes. That's why I know how much they are. He smokes the off brand, like the generic brand.
Yeah,
So
you almost have to anymore, right?
those are 11. The brand name, which is Marlboro Lights, are 13 and change.
Wow. That is
Yeah,
insane.
and down in the city, they're even more.
Wow. Yeah, I used to smoke like a pack and a half a day. I don't know where you were.
I smoked a little under a pack a day, like maybe three quarters of a pack.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was buying cigarettes for me and him, I was like, oh, this is
Jesus.
crazy. Then I started rolling my own cigarettes.
How long
So
did
that
that last?
actually, I did that for like 2 years.
Wow,
I
really?
every night I would roll 3 packs of cigarettes every
Wow.
night.
Damn. The hell
I
were you
got to
giving them
pro.
away?
What?
What were you giving them away? 3 packs a day.
No, because my husband smokes like almost
Oh, I see. So he was
a day.
smoking. Okay.
He was smoking almost 2 packs, so I would roll most every night 3 packs. If we had leftovers, then I would have to roll less that day.
Yeah. Hey, I got an idea.
But
Why don't we log in like a few minutes, like we're doing now, and then you could take this conversation and
I was thinking about that, splicing
tack
it in.
it on the end, like after the closing credits, like a Easter egg. It's
Okay,
like
a little
you,
behind the scenes.
yeah, you do your back end. We do the back end bumper out, and then it ends, and then there's like 3 or 5 seconds of silence, and then whatever we just talked about,
All right,
just
sounds
unedited,
good to me.
no BS, just cut and paste it.
Okay,
We can do that every show, and it can be a thing.
okay.
So